You got everything? Phone, wallet, passport?
Yeah. I think I got everything.
You know she finna start crying, right?
Be quiet, Aubrey. Listen, sweetie, make sure you call us when you get there. You know I'm gonna worry about you.
All right. Yeah, I will. My flight gets in around 8:30, but I gotta get some Wi-Fi first. But when I get some Wi-Fi, I'll let y'all know.
All right, man. Well, you know what to do. Handle your business.
As always, we're real proud of you, baby boy.
All right. Appreciate it. Love y'all.
Love you too.
Look, how many times did I match this work?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Life Across the Waters. I'm the host, Kendrick Perry, aka Mr. Certified in Person. Once again, back at the Higaron Hotel Resort and Spa. Thanks again for having us, as always. It's another exciting episode for me, man. One of the very dynamic players in not just the Turkish League, but the Champions League. Someone who, ever since I've come across his journey a couple years ago, him playing with a really good friend of mine, I've been tapped in. He's an 8-year pro, first and second team all-WAC in college, BBL German League first team in 2023, scoring champ, 2-time assist leader. Floor general himself, DeWayne Russell.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Appreciate you being on, bro. Appreciate you tapping in. Before we get into it, bro, I know it's still kind of early in the season, bro. How's the body feeling? How's the mind feeling right now to start off this season?
Bro, it's, to be honest, bro, I ain't felt this good in a while. You know what I'm saying? I think the summer I really took a lot of time, like really taking care of myself. I think earlier I would just be playing all the time, and this summer I got to lift weights, stretch, do the thing. So now I'm feeling good right now.
Good. And I'm sure, obviously having the fam with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of eases the mindset.
Yeah.
Right. All right, so let's just jump into it, bro. Early life, you were born in Philly, but spent most of your time growing up in Phoenix, Arizona. What would you say was kind of like, I kind of ask everybody, what was kind of like the hoop culture like growing up in Phoenix? Because, when you think of West Coast hoops, at least me being from Florida, I always think of just like kind of LA and California, but I'm sure that's not the case.
Nah, it's funny, bro. Like, I feel like my generation of when I was growing up in Phoenix, it really wasn't a hoop culture, really. Everybody was so big on California and stuff like that, AZ really didn't have a hoop culture yet. So I believe of course it was big time players and stuff like that, but we didn't have a family close knit type of thing. So now you can see that growing in Phoenix even more now. Some of the older guys that are really good are coming back helping the younger guys now. So, I think it's getting better now.
Yeah. I heard from round the way that you got the nickname Scooter growing up.
Oh man, Q funny, yo.
It wasn't Q that told me though.
It wasn't Q?
It wasn't Q that told me. Is there anything you could? What's the story behind that?
Nah, so I got, that's my mom's side and my dad's side. On my mom's side, they call me Weezy, and but on my dad's side, they call me Scooter. I don't even know why they call me that, but that's just how it's been.
Child family hood
like that. Yeah. So
speaking on that, your younger brother, Fats, family name Fats Russell. We'll dive into y'all dynamic. Now as pros a little bit later, but just growing up, kind of talk about what y'all relationship was like. Was it more of was it more of like a competitive, we going against each other and we making each other better, or you being the older brother, was it like, nah, you gonna roll with me and you gonna be on my team if we playing fives or whatever the case?
When we were younger, I think it was more competitive, younger starting off, and then now that we're getting a little older, it's more like, yo, I'm trying to show you everything so you can have as much success as possible.
Right.
So when we were younger, probably around 10, 11, 12, when I was 10, 11, 12, it was, I'm trying to beat up my little brother. I'm trying to kill him one-on-one and all that stuff like that. But then once I got to high school, college, it was more of me taking him under my wing and just trying to have him be as best as he can.
Right. Yeah. Right. Nah, I mean, I got a similar dynamic with my older brother. He didn't play professional basketball, but just, kind of growing up and having that brotherhood relationship. Right. It was kind of like you said, it kind of started early as competitive, right. But then after a while it was all right, nah, you gonna roll with me, and we gonna make sure that You stay with this kind of chip on your shoulder, being the youngest one.
Right.
Pretty much every time we go hoop or we go play in the neighborhood, whatever.
Yeah.
So again, we'll talk about how that paid off for both of y'all, later on. But I thought that was pretty funny. When I look at y'all dynamic, it kind of reminds me of me and my brothers.
Yeah.
Moving on to college, you decided to stay more or less close to home. You started at North Arizona and then you transferred to Grand Canyon. Before we get more into details about the success you had at GC, what kind of made you decide to make that change to go from Northern Arizona to GC?
Honestly, like it wasn't working out for me. I was real immature too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was a freshman. I thought everything should have went the way I thought it should have went. So I went through a lot of like bumps and bruises, my freshman year. I was playing pretty well, but just being very immature, like off the floor, when it comes to classrooms and just how I handle my certain situations. So I really needed a fresh start. And then, I thought it was best for me to stay close to my support system. I had my uncle there, I had my grandmother there, and I needed them at that time. So it was more important for me to stay close to home. And that's when I transferred to GCU. Northern Arizona probably is like 2 hours away from the crib.
Okay.
And then Grand Canyon, that's like 15 minutes from the crib.
Oh, yeah,
so like I'm able to, something go left, I'm able to go right up the street.
Right.
So it was cool.
Yeah, and it's funny because like for some people that can be a positive, for a lot that can be a negative. You know what I'm saying? Like I look back at when I'm glad I got out of Orlando because not to say that I would have gotten in trouble or whatever, but it's just you never know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I was able to just lock in when I went all the way up to Ohio to school.
Nah, yeah, I heard that though, cause it was the same thing. Like we talking about my brother, like when he was in Philly, so when he got to go to he went to Rhode Island, he was away. That helped him so much, helped him grow. So it just works out differently for different people.
Right, facts. So you earned second team all conference that sophomore year. You averaged 14 and 4. But then your senior year you went crazy, averaging 21 and 5, earned first team all WAC. I saw you set the single season D1 program record for that year for almost 600 points. What do you think was the jump from that sophomore to junior to senior year?
Man, I think one, I had a real good coach, Coach Marley. Dan Marley, he was my coach.
Coach Dan Marley was your coach?
Yeah, he was my coach. So like, he was already a pro. He knew what it took. So I remember the summer of my junior year, he was telling me like, bro, if you really want to be a pro, I'm not saying you're going to make the NBA, but if you even want to have a shot at being a pro, you're going to have to change some things about your diet, about how you work and things like that. So I really just locked in, bro. I locked in. I got in the gym. I started learning what it meant to be a pro, like the type of work you had to put in. So I think the work just like transferred over and things like that. And then Coach Marley was my guy. He let me rock out. So then that helped out a lot.
And that
too.
Always helps.
That always, when the coach let you rock out, that joke, it's always going to help.
Right. Yeah. With both of us being kind of mid-major guards, I know for me, I graduated a little bit earlier than you. I graduated in 14. For me, it was always that, it was kind of like, I'm killing in mid-major, and there was always that that thought of like, maybe I should transfer to a high D1 my senior year, maybe. But for me, it was just like, I kind of already had my roots here. I only got one more year left. I know I'm going to have a green light pretty much. Kind of talk about what your experience is like as a mid-major guard, because I feel like nowadays it's a little, I don't want to say easier, but like there are eyes everywhere now. So if you killing it, don't matter what level you're at, people gonna find you. But that might not have been the case, however many years ago when we were in college. You really had to either get your team to that dance or you would have to like put up crazy numbers against some premier schools, which you did. I think you had like 42 against Louisville. Yeah. So just kind of talk about what that experience was like for you.
But that's why, honestly, bro, that's why I respect you so much. I respect guards like that didn't have everything perfectly for them to be successful, but they still find a way to make it. Like, that's why I respect you so much. But yeah, bro, like what you said, I knew when we had those big games, I knew it's like, bro, I gotta put on, like, you know what I'm saying? I gotta have great games against the big teams, because that's the only way they're gonna even look this way.
Right.
So, and that same thing, I go back to Coach Marley, like he was telling me those things, like, yo, when we played Arizona, we played Louisville, we played these teams, you gotta show that you can play against these type of level of players. So I just kind of always had that. I knew that, like, when we had them big games, I had to perform.
Nah, I appreciate the shout out, bro, too, because again, like, I feel like you got to give people their flowers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's, again, the big reason why I got you on the show now. But moving on, we getting into your pro career now. Your first year out, you signed with SOUC Nancy in the French Pro B League. What was the process like of kind of, your senior year's done. Maybe you had some NBA workouts, maybe you didn't. Of course, I'm assuming you signed with an agent and everything. Kind of tell the people what that process was like, and then how you ended up getting your first overseas gig.
Bro, it was hard. I think for me, I didn't sign until about like September, which is like real late my first year. Yeah. So I was like, I didn't do summer league. I didn't. I had like about like 4 or 5 NBA workouts, but it's a long period of time where nothing's going on.
Right.
And I'm just like really trying to figure it out. It was tough, you know what I'm saying? And that was the part where I realized that this is what I really want to do, because when it got tough, I didn't really care. I was like, yo, I'm all into this basketball thing. Like, I don't care if I got to wait till November, December. I'm going to try to make this joint happen. So that's when I knew, like, yo, I'm all in with this joint.
Yeah. And it seemed like it worked out, bro. You know what I'm saying? And again, your journey is one that I really respect, because kind of like you said, like even when you look at some guards overseas, it kind of seems like they get that one gig right away, and then shit just kind of propels them, and they kind of get to where they want to be in like the second, third, fourth year.
Right.
And I respect people that kind of go through the real grind of like a overseas journey, I guess. But moving on, you signed with Krausheim. I always fuck the name
but
up,
I was
bro.
fucking it up too.
I always fuck the name up,
it's
bro.
Krausheim.
Krausheim.
Yeah.
And that's when I was tapped in, because you played with a really good friend of mine, a brother, Quincy Ford, for the 18-19 season and 19-20, correct?
Yep.
Did you go into it signing the 2-year, or you did a 1+1?
I did a 1+1, so I signed 1 year, and then I came back for the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And under both of those seasons, you played with the Finnish coach Tuomas Iisalo, who's now assistant coach with the Memphis Grizzlies. I had a chance to play against Iisalo my first year here in Malaga with when he was with Bond. And from me seeing him from the outside looking in, it seems like all the point guards he has do really well.
Yeah.
Yourself, T.J. Shorts, Parker Jackson Cartwright, Trey Bell Haynes. It seems like all the point guards he has kind of flourish within his system. What was it like, for you, kind of playing with him for those 2 years?
Hard. I think that when you go to play for him, he's gonna like really dig into you. He'll say the deep end. He'll throw you in the deep end and see if you're gonna sink or swim. And it was hard for me, because I didn't all the way know the European style of game yet. I was just kind of like trying to score. And then when I got with him, he kind of like sat me down and like broke down the game for me, trying to teach me like where I was going to be good at, what I need to stay away from. So it was hard, but at the end of the day, it helped me so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see, and like you said, with all the guards that he has, like, they all do well. And I'm appreciative of him.
Yeah. It's funny. We talked a little bit off camera before about the whole BCL Final Four fiasco with us and them.
Right.
But that's water under the bridge now. One thing that I respect from him as a coach is that when he has success, it seems like he brings his guys with him when he levels up. I saw that with obviously T.J. Shorts being the biggest name, but Javante Hawkins, who you played with, Tyson Ward, pretty much that whole Paris team that's in EuroLeague now. So again, whether I have my personal feelings towards him, whether or not, I can respect the fact that he's loyal to his guys for sure.
Right.
That 2020 year, that second year, you led the team to the BBL. I think they did a tournament, right?
Yeah,
they brought back the tournament because of COVID.
Because of COVID, yeah. They brought but we didn't have our team, so like everybody went home. I think Q went home.
Oh, it was a new team.
Yeah, like AJ went home, Hawk went home.
Okay.
So like we had a brand new team when we went into that tournament. And that's one of the things I would like wish that we could have finished out like that. If we could have finished with that group that 2020 year, I would like to see what we would have did.
Bro, I was locked in, bro. I was loving the way y'all was playing, bro. I was loving it. you, Hawk, who I've gotten to know pretty well over these last couple of years, ever since then, and of course Q.
Yeah.
Between that three that y'all had, bro, and then of course the other y'all had a big man too.
AJ.
Yeah, I was gonna say y'all had a pretty athletic big man too.
Right.
I was excited to watch y'all. I was really a fan of watching y'all play for real.
Yeah.
But moving on to next year, or no, I'm sorry. Before we move on, what in your time with Crossline, what did you think you took away? What was the best thing you think you took away from that time?
The friendships, like we talked about, like the some of the guys we just named, like man, like those are dudes that, like the basketball stuff is the basketball stuff, but those dudes I'm gonna talk to them for the rest of my life.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those dudes, even the Coach Iisalo, like, you know what I mean? We got like real relationships, what I mean, through those years through that year that we had. So I think that was the most important thing out of all of it was like the relationships and seeing the kids. Q about to have 2 kids. So,
Right.
Like, seeing the kids grow up and stuff like that. It's just been cool, man.
Yeah, nah, that's the part that people on the outside looking in kind of take for granted.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like you spend so much time with people, you on the road with them. You just make memories without even trying to make memories.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm sure y'all got plenty of stories of being in some random hotel in Germany. You know what I mean? Just hanging out after a game, before a game, whatever. But it's kind of those things that people from the outside looking in, they like to measure stuff in wins and losses.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the ball gonna stop bouncing for all of us, bro.
Exactly.
So it's important to keep those networks and the friendships alive.
Facts.
The next year, the following 2 years, you went to Italy to play for Treviso. Was that again another 1+1, or was that two straight up?
It was a 1 and then it turned into another. It was 1 and then I signed for 1 more.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
So.
What do you think was the difference between the style of play between Germany and Italy?
When I was in Germany, we had a real discipline system, with like a lot of movement and things like that. I think when you go to like some of the other teams like Italy or other countries, it kind of becomes more like they let their guys just play, like their talent. So like it was an adjustment period for me. I think that first year, just the different style. Like we played a lot of up and down when I was in Germany, and then when I got to Italy, it kind of slowed down, a lot of half court grind and stuff like that. So it actually helped me grow a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, just to see a different side of European basketball.
Yeah. Now, did y'all play international competition there?
Yeah, the second year we played Champions League.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So kind of talk about what that first was that your first experience with international?
That was my first experience.
Okay, because in Crossline, y'all just played
we just played BBL.
Okay.
Yep.
Kind of talk about what that first experience was like, because, again, when I talk to guys on the show about playing in those international competitions, the biggest thing is like, now you're not just playing against teams Italy, you're playing against teams from France and all these other different countries. So now the stage is much bigger.
Right.
So now you have a good game against a team from Spain, you might fuck around and be in Spain next year. You know what I'm saying? Kind of talk about what that experience was like.
Man, I ain't even gonna lie. At that point, I watched so much European. I was nervous as fuck. Like that first game, I'm like, yo, like I've been waiting for this moment, and now it's here. And I was nervous, and then like when I got on the court, I realized like, yo, like it's at the end of the day, it was just basketball.
It's just hoop. Yeah.
I was like, bro, I was like making it way more than it really was.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see also the different styles of play. Like I think we ended up one time we played against a team in Turkey. We seen they played differently from the team in France and stuff like that. So just seeing that, and then it gave myself a lot of confidence to know that I can play, and I can play any, you know what I mean? I can play in any country, I can play anywhere. So that was a big moment for me, you know what I'm saying? My confidence and just like, you know what I mean, seeing where I really wanted to go with it.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Going back to Germany for the 22-23 season, you signed with Oldenburg, and I don't even want to say it was a breakout year because you've been balling before that, but that was a year where it seemed like, for those that didn't know who DeWayne Russell was, you opened a lot of eyes. You led like I mentioned, you led the league in scoring, you led the league in assists. What do you remember anything about, like maybe the preparation before that year? Was it just a mental switch? What do you think kind of led to that individual success that year?
I think that it was just like perfect timing, situation too. You know what I'm saying? I think that year I got on a team where it wasn't a lot of creators. So a lot of that got a lot of responsibility. You know what I'm saying, to create and things like that. And then like all the years of like, I think everywhere I've been at that point, besides the first year, I've been there for 2 years. So I got a lot to learn from these coaches, like really pick their brains. And when I got to Oldenburg, it just all came together. You know what I'm saying? It was like perfect timing, roll, and I was ready. So I think that, I was hungry. I wanted to have a real breakout year that year too. So it was just worked out perfect.
And you know what's funny? I'm watching that year, or I'm watching you had that year, whether it was Champions League or BBL. And if I remember correctly, you re-signed. I can't remember if you re-signed during the year or maybe like right after the season.
During the year.
But I remember seeing it, and I texted Q. I was like, bro, DeWayne sure you want to do that, bro? Because I'm looking at Bayern, I'm looking at Alba, you know what I mean? Like, and I know they could use a point guard like you, especially because I'm sure you was torching them during the season. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, again, I'll never tell another person what to do in their situation, but I'm just looking, I'm like, bro, he's got to get a look from one of them teams, bro. He just torched the whole league. Yeah. What kind of made you double down with Oldenburg?
Bro, it was a mistake. I think so? I think so. Just for like my career, like I think at that point, well, what I was thinking at that point in time was I wanted to be loyal to these people that gave me a chance. For sure. You know what I'm saying? They allowed me to do a lot of things that they allowed me to have a role that most people
wouldn't allow you to.
I'm allowed to go out there and take 20 shots if I wanted to.
For sure.
And I wanted to show some type of loyalty back to them.
Right.
And I was doing it in a business where you really don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of supposed to kind of like, I got goals for my own personal goals and stuff like that too. So I kind of like put that aside because I believed in the coach and I love that coach still to this day.
Right.
I believed in the city and things like that, but you could see in that second year, I just wasn't happy. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like I kind of let myself a little bit short because I wanted to be in a higher level. I wanted to be playing against better players and really pushing myself.
Right.
So I feel like kind of when I look back on it, I wish I would have kind of left after I had that big year just to see what would have happened.
What could have happened.
What could have happened, you know what I mean?
And I mean, it's tough, bro, because like you said, bro, like, because the heart side of it is like, bro, this team really just let me rock out, and I had my best season individually with this team. So, like, there's something there, you know what I mean? And but it's the gamble because, like, you just never know what can happen that next year. You know, you could sign some new guys who might not fit what's going on. Management might want to coach and change halfway through, and then, you know, so it is kind of a gamble. I mean, either way, it's a gamble, bro, honestly. But
and KP, the crazy part about it was, so the year in Krausheim that we had in Krausheim, they went to Bonn that next year, and I decided to go to Treviso, and I felt like damn, maybe I should have stayed with that group, you know what I'm saying, and just kind of let it go. So I kind of like, when I went to Oldenburg, I was like, I'm not going to make this mistake again. I'm going to stay with the group, you know what I'm saying? And it just, you know what I mean? It just happens how it happens, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's life, bro. It happens. Well, currently, you know, getting into today's season, you're now with Pektinspor in Turkish BSL and back in Champions League again. You know, again, we talked it's still a little early in the season, but what's the mindset for this season right now?
Man, really just have success. I think just Peckham has been a club where they had a lot of success last year. It was their first time making the playoffs. And then they got like us coming in, some of the new guys coming in, and we just kind of like want to like push the program forward. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing for us is, you know, pushing the program forward to see where it can go, where it could take us, and then, you know, look up and see what we got at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I have too many big, like, crazy goals with it. I just, like, want to push the program forward.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, we talked a little bit about it before, but we're here now in the BCL. You led your team through the qualifiers to get there. Two qualifying rounds, right? Or three?
We had to do all three.
Y'all did do three?
Yeah.
Okay. You're part of one of what I think might be damn near the scariest backcourt in Champions League with you and Brent Tyree. Kind of talk about what that process has been like, you know, both of y'all kind of coming into your own as players, having success before, and just really like leading this group into kind of what you said, into trying to push this team into to some type of success.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Bree's my roommate. You know what I'm saying? And like, I see a lot of times where like a lot of guys try to get in the way of like a younger guy, and I think this player is special. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And me being his backcourt mate, I just want to see him be as great as he possibly can be. Because I don't want to be in the way. Like, I'm a little older than him. I think he's 26, I'm 30. So I just want to be able to, like, as his point guard, you know, make him be as good as he possibly can be. You know, push him forward, give him all the knowledge that I could possibly give him. And I think ultimately that'll help our team win, which is what everybody wants anyway. And I think it would be great for his career. Because I think that, like I said, I think he's a special player, man.
For sure. Nah, y'all both have been killing shit right now, bro. Before we get into kind of the last segment, I know you mentioned earlier you don't really have a lot of goals, like clear goals. And I don't even really like to ask people what their goals are, because I know people like to keep kind of close-knit to the chest. I'm that way, bro.
I know you like
yeah,
that.
I was about to say, bro, I'm not about to tell you
like
what
that.
my goals are, bro. You just gotta, you'll know when they happen.
You'll know when
type
they
shit.
happen.
But kind of what do you think? Again, what do you think the ceiling is or the limit is for this team? You know, it seems like they don't really have, I don't want to say they don't have expectations, but you know, like you said, they're a fairly new group in terms of success. So where do you think y'all can lead this team?
But I really think that, and I believe that all the people inside of that locker room believe that we can exceed expectations. Like, I think people put expectations on us of where they think we can be or where they think we should be, and I think that everybody in that locker room believes that we can go past that.
Go further. Right.
And we believe that we can, you know what I'm saying? We feel like we can get at least into the top 16. We want to see what happens when we get to that next phase.
Right.
But we believe that we can get there. And yeah, I just think that like it's fun to be in this group. You know, I'm like one of the older players on the team. It's like the first time. I'm like,
it's kind of weird, right? When you get to that side of like,
I'm like, and like they coming at, like, you know what I'm saying? We got Ricky on our team. He come at me every day. Like, first of all, he laughs at the music I listen to. Like, I listen to old Wayne. He thinks
right.
yo, what?
Right.
But it's just funny to see that other side of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they come to me for questions and stuff like that. And yeah, it's been cool for me, you know what I'm saying? Just to be on that other side and to be with a group with this much like energy. It's kind of like giving me life back into the game. Like, yo, I like having fun again.
Right. Man, you talking like you an old head though.
Nah, I mean, like, bro, like, you know how it is sometimes. You've been spoiled being in Malaga for a while, but you play for some teams where like sometimes that joy get out of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And being with this group again, being with the coaches, like the joy of basketball has came back.
Absolutely.
So like, I'm just having fun with this group.
Bro, the Malaga damn near saved my mental at a time, bro, because that whole year before I came here, bro, it was a roller coaster, bro.
No,
I
remember in the summertime that's where you was about to go to Panama when you came to Phoenix.
Yep.
And like I remember that whole joint.
And had I known shit was gonna go like that, I probably wouldn't have went. But nah, it's all good, bro. Yeah. Last topic I kind of want to talk on, bro. I mentioned earlier, you know, the relationship with you and your brother Fats. You know, y'all both, you look up now, however many years later, you both are pros. You both are playing in BCL. You both are playing in Turkey. You told me off camera, you guys are 5 minutes living from each other in the same city. That in itself is a blessing, bro. You know what I'm saying? That people might not understand how fucking dope that is. For real, but kind of talk about what that experience is like, just kind of being the older brother, kind of seeing his trajectory and his path and his journey, and kind of seeing where that's led him.
Bro, it's so like, it's crazy because like, first of all, we talked about things like this when we were younger, but we thought obviously everybody wants to go to the NBA.
Right.
So when that don't happen, you like, how does it work? And then for me to just see him grow, like, bro, I've watched him since he was a kid just get better, get better. Then come to Europe. He comes to Europe his first year. He goes to
Monar, yeah.
And it's like, how's it gonna go? And before that summer, I was telling him like, yo, European stages like this, you're gonna have to play like this. They gonna do this.
He said, fuck all that.
He said, yo, I'm going there. I'm gonna be myself. And the whole time in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, like, I don't know if you should do it that way. Right. Or he go there 40.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 move up, go to God. So like, just to see him one, always be itself, but then also at the same time learn and like pick like, yo, this kid, yo, I'm telling you, KP, he gonna be good. Like he the next, like out of like them small guards that's going on right now, I think people don't really know about him as much. Like he the next one.
If they don't, they will after this year for sure.
He the next one. I'm telling you,
they
like,
will after this year
he's
for sure.
He's special, man. So like, just for me to be able to watch it from afar and stuff like that, and then be able to like help him, support him, it's been dope, man.
I'm loving watching him play, bro. What him and Eric are doing and Karsiaka, bro.
And that's the big that right there.
That he got that vet over there.
Eric, because Eric, like, I ain't even gonna lie, Eric. I don't really talk too fast a lot because I just know Eric got it on. I know Eric a good vet. Right. So like Eric just got that joint moving like how it's supposed to move, and I see fast developing. Boom, boom, he doing that. I go to the games, I'm watching, I'm like, oh shit, he hedge, boom, he hit the short roll, bop, bop. Oh shit, like he really learning. He learning the game. Like I'm like, yo, so like, yeah, man, it's been dope.
And it's kind of like you said, bro. It's good that he's learning the game while still being able to be himself. Right. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he's not getting 20-something shots up anymore. Right. But when he sees his opportunity, he's still taking it. You know what I'm saying? But when he knows when to make that read to the short roll, he can still do it easily. You know what I mean? And that's going to help him so much more in the long run. Right. And again, like I said, bro, having a backcourt mate like Eric, who's been through so much, who has so much knowledge, so much wisdom, and still got so much game left, you know what I mean? It's going to be nothing but beneficial to him. Right. Okay, so now on the other side of that, as a competitor, what's it like? Have y'all matched up yet?
Nah, we never have.
Okay, all right.
So not in the game, like not in the game.
Not in the game.
We play ones all summer.
Right.
But
so what's that like? I know, because I know it ain't gonna be no dinner before the game or nothing like that.
Definitely not. Yeah, definitely not. It's funny. I don't know how that joint gonna go. Like I know our family coming, so our family gonna be there and stuff like that. But like, we so competitive. But like I love them though, you know what I'm saying. So I just want to see. I know how I'm gonna get when I get on the court, but I just want to see how it's gonna go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I would be on the court with him and I'm gonna be like trying to take his neck off, but at the same time I'm like, you are my little brother. So it's just gonna be a weird dynamic.
Damn, I gotta find a date for that game.
Yeah, bro.
You gotta send me the date, bro. If I'm available, if we not playing or nothing, bro, I gotta tap in.
For sure. That's gonna be a good one.
Any last thing we'll talk about fast? Of course, I'm sure y'all have conversations all the time. Is it words of advice now? Is it encouragement? Or is it just like, hey, bro, I'm here when you need me?
It's a little bit of both. Like, I always tell them I'm here when you need me, but like, I'm also going to tell you what I need, what I think you need for you to be the best you could possibly be. I think that's my role as his big brother. Is like to try to push him to be as good as he possibly can be. So I'll be telling him what I think and what I see from him, like on the game or like how he is like also outside of the court. But at the same time, I give him space. Like, yo, bro, whenever you need me, I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. So it's a little bit of both now.
Yeah. I mean, as a big brother, bro, I feel like that's all you could do. I feel like that's what my brother did for me and continues to do for me. So, I'm sure he appreciates it. Before we get out of here, bro, I got some quick hitters. Favorite country you visited so far?
I love Italy, bro.
Italy?
I love my daughter was born in Italy, so that's just a special connection.
Me and my wife, we just did our honeymoon before this season in Italy. We did like the southern Italy, and that shit was amazing, bro. That shit was amazing.
Where'd y'all go?
We started in Rome, and then we went to Sorrento.
Okay.
And then, damn, I feel like I'm missing a place. Sorrento, Capri.
Okay.
And then I think back to Rome. I might be missing a place in there. But we did it was like probably like 10, 12 days.
You can't beat it, yo.
Yeah, that shit was a vibe, bro. Yeah, bro. And then next time we go on like a vacation, we're going to try to do the north. So we're going to try to do like Venice, Florence, wine tasting.
Right.
Bucket list country or city.
I really want to do Greece. I ain't done Santorini.
We haven't done Santorini.
And like I always see them pictures. I'm like, yo, I got to get there at least once. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
3 artists on your current playlist.
Wayne, my favorite artist for sure. I always tap in with Future. Like, you know what I'm saying? He just dropped that mixtape. I'm going to tap in with Future. And I'm trying to see if I can name one of the young Jews.
The Q put you on Rod Wave?
Yo. Q, I gotta say Rod, bro.
Come on, bro. I be trying to get my teammates here to tap in, bro.
But Q put me on him before, like, you know, Carlos back then, he wasn't really like, he wasn't really popping like that. Yo, Q was on him back then. So
but that's why I asked, because, you know, they from the same area. Yeah. So I'm like, I think one of our mutual friends from the same area was the first person I heard that told me about Rod Wave. And ever since then, I'm tapped in.
Yeah, yo, he nice, yo.
I'm trying to tell people, bro. Best advice you can give someone living or playing overseas?
Enjoy the journey. I think, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be ups, it's going to be downs. Try to enjoy all that shit, like, for real.
Yeah. Last one. I have a given answer to this one already, but other than your brother, someone that I need to have on the podcast. And Q. Other than your brother and Q.
You ain't had Q yet?
Nah, not yet.
You gotta have Q. You gotta get Bree on here.
Bree?
Tyree.
Bet.
You gotta get Bree on here. I can help you with that one too.
Yeah.
Hey, but listen, he a different dude.
Yeah?
He a wild dude. So
Bet.
it'll be a good podcast.
Say less, bro.
Yeah.
Bree, tap in, bro.
Facts.
Tap in, bro.
Yeah.
But that's it, man. Another episode of Life Across the Waters. DeWayne, appreciate you pulling up, dog.
For
This
real.
was fun, dog. I appreciate it.
it's a good
Again,
one.
you're someone whose journey and game I really respect, bro.
respect
Ever
you
since
too, cuz,
I
for real.
was tapped in, bro. So the fact I can get you on here and kind of tell your story to the people, bro, I appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me, dog, for real.
No problem. Again, thank you to the Hotel Higueron Resort and Spa for hosting us. As always, like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see y'all next time. But until then, remember to stay certified in person. See y'all next time.